been here almost 1 year and have spent a significant amount of time investigating, observing, reflecting, and talking and communicating with parents, teachers, administrators, townspeople, the mayor, the council, etc., etc. I have met just about everyone. It has been a great experience, and I believe we are at a point now where we can begin to make decisions that have a positive effect on outcomes in our district for kids. That is why we are here. We are here to serve a population of approximately 1,500 students. We have found that communication with parents and the public is the best way to develop programs to serve those children. Hopatcong is dealing with a significant amount of educational dilemma. State aid cuts are one item. The fact that we lose kids to choice schools is another item. And part of our mission here is to demonstrate that Hopatcong as a school district can compete very positively with our neighboring districts, which I have great respect for. We border Sparta, we border Lenape Valley. They are excellent school districts, and I believe that very firmly in my heart that we can compete with those districts, and we will be demonstrating that as time goes on. So let me give you some examples. Parental input. I've met with a coterie of parents at different times in the school year over issues that they felt were vital. For example, we went to a standards-based report card previous to my getting here. Parents did not seem to enjoy that experience. They felt that grades were better for kids, even smaller kids, and as a result, we will return to a more traditional report card program. A simple item such as that, where one listens, reflects, and then acts, I find that it is a good manner in which to connect with people. They made logical points, we followed up on it. Similarly, in the younger grades, prior to my getting here, they did away with advanced classes. Once again, that's something that we are reinstating based on input we received from parents and administration. We've held a number of single issue meetings in the last year. Those meetings are well attended. Those meetings allow me to share from the horse's mouth what we're doing. And we find that that's very decent in terms of rumor control, very decent in terms of getting the correct information out there and getting information to people who have a role in the educational process. One of my main goals is to make Hopatcong High School a comprehensive high school. What that means is that we need to serve our entire population of students. Approximately 7% of our graduates go into the military. Approximately 20% of our graduates go right to employment. About 4% go on to a vocational training school. 43% go to a 2-year college, and 25% to a 4-year college. A comprehensive high school must serve all of those populations, and that's one of my intents. The idea of putting forth programs that prepare kids not only for 2-year colleges and 4-year colleges, but to prepare kids for the workforce. So as a result, we will be formulating what are called career and technical education courses, which allow students not only to graduate with a diploma, but also allow students to graduate with a certificate that demonstrates that they've had a specialty in a certain field. For example, one of the items that I am putting forth has to do with construction skills. Hopatcong is a town where there are a significant number of small construction companies run by local citizens. We feel that we can serve them better if we have kids prepared with skills that will allow them to possibly gain immediate employment in the vicinity. For the 2-year colleges, this afternoon we'll be meeting with Sussex County Community College to try to increase the scope of concurrent courses. That means that a student in Hopatcong High School can gain college credit at a very inexpensive cost so as to begin to develop a college transcript while they're in high school. There are a small number of courses that are currently concurrent, and we intend to expand that. Similarly, for kids who go to four-year colleges, we will be putting forth a concurrent program. Hopefully, we'll meet next week with William Patterson University, which allows our students to take courses geared toward a four-year state school. And there'll be more information on that in the future. We have a catch-up meeting scheduled for August 28th at 6:30 p.m. at the high school, in which I will elaborate upon the new initiatives that will be going into effect. A, many of which will begin in September. B, some of which will begin in January. And C, some of which will begin next year. You may be aware that we are in the process of selling a permanent easement on the land where our cell tower is located, up on the Warrior Fields. That is in the process of completion. It's not fully completed yet. By law, we had to bid the property. We sent out to a number of companies that were interested. The company that currently runs the cell tower is, in fact, intending to purchase it. We must give them a 60-day due diligence period from the time that a contract is signed. When that contract is signed, and if the deal continues to go through as expected, the district will gain a $2.1 million revenue stream. The Board of Education will allow me to use a significant portion of that money towards new initiatives. So I mentioned a construction course. We will enhance what used to be a very good shop area, which changed over the years. We will revert back to an old school construction shop. We will build a small but reasonable cosmetology lab. That is a topic that some of our students enjoy taking. Right now, we lose those students to the tech school for that cosmetology program, and we will be starting our own program on a small scale basis. We have added a significant number of courses at the high school. Next year, we will begin an academy program where students can major in one of four different areas, so as to, again, specialize towards their future. We are trying to get kids and families to identify what their preferred future is. That's a phrase I use a lot. A preferred future can't always be identified when a student is of high school age, but we want kids to think about it. Some students will be able to hone in on what they want to do later on in life. Other students will take a more exploratory course, and I feel part of our job is to give them opportunities in different areas so that they can explore while in high school, not go to college and tell mom or dad when they're sophomores that they want to change their major and are faced with a significant cost factor. I have an administrative assistant who is very savvy in social media. So the district has Twitter, Facebook accounts, etc., which she controls in terms of providing information to people. That has been a new factor for us, and for me especially, being a dinosaur in terms of technology. Her efforts there have been very helpful. We have consolidated in the district. We have 3 less administrators, actually 6 less administrators over the last 2 years. We've consolidated office positions. So, for example, my administrative assistant has taken on the role of the human resources person who left the district to move to South Carolina. We have a situation where we need to concentrate our funds on kids. And that means less administrators, it means less support staff, it means more teachers, it means more programs. That's what our intent is. I invite you to our August 28th meeting, where we will not only describe and summarize what happened last year. We had a lot of stuff going on. We closed a school in 4 days. Not many districts could do that. We did that because the community supported us. We have the 8th grade starting at the high school this year. Again, the community did not banter that around. They accepted the idea that our 8th grade students could earn high school credits in grade 8 and perhaps move toward that preferred future that I referred to. So we'll summarize the past year, but more importantly, we'll lay out our plans for the new year. The Board of Education last night spent time considering goals for the year. Those goals will be shared at the board meeting on the 26th and at my meeting on the 28th. The goals are very specific. Usually boards set broad goals, but here the board has allowed us to be specific on what we're doing and how we're going to do it. And I'm very, very appreciative. I mentioned very early in this video the idea that the state aid cuts were significant. The board lost $1.1 million for this fiscal year that started on July 1st. I'm very proud of the fact that we did not have to raise taxes because of that. And that has nothing to do with the revenue from the cell tower. The board will not allow me, understandably so, to use cell tower money to sustain a regular budget. So we did some significant analyzing and made some changes, and we were able to cope with that $1.1 million cut without raising taxes. Next year, we will get an additional $880,000 cut. Once again, my goal is to not raise taxes. I understand very much the idea that Hopatcong is a community with a wide range of socioeconomic potential. Raising taxes is not something that I look forward to doing, especially with enrollment decreases. Interestingly, our enrollment is beginning to level off, and we're very happy to see that. I am looking forward to the beginning of the school year when I can analyze those new numbers that we'll have for the first time. We have been receiving a significant influx of young people from the country of Colombia, and our ELL population, English language learning students, is up to 31 kids in that one language. So that's a significant change for us. The affordability of housing in Hopatcong has allowed new families to come in, either rent or more often purchase, and many of those new families have young children. So the future of the district is bright. The state aid cuts can be devastating. Remember, we will lose 90% of our state aid over the next 6 years. We'll cope with that on a year-by-year basis. As one year progresses, we'll begin planning for the next year. It is very difficult to put forth a 5-year financial plan when there's so much unknown. There is legislation being introduced that may have an effect on state aid cuts, possibly extending them over 10 years, possibly reducing them. Hopatcong lost 35% of its students in the last 10 years, but it's losing 90% of its state aid. It's somewhat skewed to me. So we'll continue to deal with that in a manner which will make sure that we are efficient, but we will also make sure that we were thorough and efficient in our educational program.